Welcome back to the Launch Point Leader Podcast. My name's Lori.
And this is Bo.
We're so excited to be back here another week to share with you more on our journey as we talk about for these first few months, really setting yourself up as a leader, communicating to your team well, and how to build really strong systems that take your team not only to a strong 2026, but build towards greater futures. Last month, we really talked about setting up ourselves really well, looking intrinsically, looking at your personal values, how you communicate well with your team, how to really set that mission. And this month, we take that one step further and talk about how to transfer that knowledge and passion and build up you've got for yourself and how to build buy-in with your team for all of these new things you're going to be working on. So we're so excited to talk about that with you guys this next month. And we're starting off this week with a letter from a listener that is written in. So I'll just get right into the letter, and it says, "Dear Launch Point, I've been sitting with this email for weeks, opening it, closing it, rewriting it in my head. So I guess that alone tells you something about where I'm at. On the outside, things look fine. I have a solid job, people trust me, and I've been encouraged more than once to take the next step in my company to a senior management role. But internally, I feel like I'm sitting at the edge of something I'm not qualified to step into. I keep telling myself I just need a little more experience, a little more time, one more certification or one more win before I'm allowed to say yes. The truth is I don't feel ready, and I'm terrified of being exposed to someone who slipped through the cracks to get where I am. My coworkers are really nice, but I can't help but think there is someone there waiting to point out the second I fail. Obviously, I've heard of imposter syndrome and know that that's what I'm suffering with, but I can't help but feel like I'm different. I'm the true imposter. As I compare myself to those around me, they seem so sure of themselves. What makes it harder is that I want more. I want to lead well. I want to be credible, but that doesn't make the fear go away. So I've stayed with where it's comfortable. And yet I feel this tension. I feel like I'm being nudged forward while my feet are glued to the floor. I don't want fear to be the reason I stay stuck, but I don't know how to move forward without feeling like I'm just pretending. So how do you take that next step when you don't feel ready? And how do you build confidence and credibility when your inner voice keeps telling you you're not enough yet? Signed, Cautiously Capable."
A lot of good analogies there and
Definitely.
word pictures, I feel like.
Honestly, maybe their job is something in the writing or creative arts because it really was full of metaphor.
Yeah, so I think to start there, you're really good at writing an email.
Absolutely. If that's what the new job is, do not feel like an imposter.
You're good. I've got a couple of thoughts with this. I think we talked you mentioned at the end of that letter, being comfortable. And I think healthy things grow, and you can't have growth and comfort at the same time. Growth is an uncomfortable process, whether it's you growing, from child to adolescent to teen to young adult to adult, then growing old. Whatever that growth is, or if it's in athletics or physicality, or if it's in business and leadership, growth is it's going to be uncomfortable. So I think as we start this, don't mistake discomfort for a sign that you shouldn't be doing something and moving forward.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the first thing I would say. I think also you're in really good company feeling this way. We talk a lot about leaders needing to be smart, hungry, and humble. And I think that with your self-doubts, that's probably that humility piece that's coming into play. I'll be honest, I've led organizations for 20 plus years now, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't have moments in the day where I go, am I really doing okay? Am I enough? Am I giving them what they need? Am I giving them everything that I've got? Am I really doing what I need to be doing? So I think this exists to a degree in every great leader. The question is can you harness that and use it as a humility thing and not as a crutch or as a weight, around your neck to drag you down. So I do think don't maybe think of imposter syndrome as a bad thing. I do think it's an element of every great leader along their journey. And then lastly, I think I said you're in good company. One of my favorite leaders of all time that I can't wait to meet one day is Moses. We're people of faith. And so when I look at great leaders, I often go to the Bible first. And when I think about Moses, And this idea of not being ready and not feeling like they're enough to step into the role that's there for them. Go back and read that story in Exodus. Even if you're not a person of faith, go back and read that story. It's just a really crazy story of leadership because he gets called to leadership through a burning shrub in the wilderness that has an audible voice, right? So I think if that happens to you, you should probably follow directions or don't do drugs. I don't know either one, but he wasn't. But he got called to this specific mission by the creator of heaven and earth himself, who came down to earth to call Moses to go do this incredible rescue mission, to go take an entire population group out of slavery to a land that wasn't theirs yet, and to do all the things in between that came with that, to create a society, to create norms, etc. And if you look, so the whole imposter syndrome, if you go back and read, what was Moses' response initially? It was like, oh no, I'm sorry, I think you've made a mistake. This is Moses. I am not a great leader. I can't even speak properly. I think you need to look for somebody else. But God saw something in Moses and had a particular purpose for him. And was he perfect along the way? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But when I say you're in good company, I think Moses goes down as one of the great leaders of all time, not just in faith, but in the world history. So if you feel like you're not enough and you can't do it, that's okay. It's normal. It's healthy. And you've got a lot of incredible leaders that have done huge things in this world that have felt that exact same way, i.e. Moses is the example that I will give today.
I think that's so great. I was thinking about, as I read this, I did a talk last year to a group of women business owners in a networking group. And the topic was imposter syndrome. And part of it was exactly like you said, like we took some time and looked at great leaders through history and people that have struggled openly with this. You know, people like Maya Angelou, Supreme Court justices, presidents, the list goes on and on of people that not only have felt it, but have verbalized it. Yep. And I think it was really cool to see people know, like, okay, maybe this isn't just a bad sign. And the odds that I am, like they said, I'm different. I am the true imposter. Probably not. But something else we did at the end is we sat in the room and did an exercise where people paired up and talked with each other, and nobody was like, no, I'm good. I've never felt this. No, I've never been in a situation where I don't feel ready. But the difference is the people that push past are the only ones that achieve their dreams. You're not going to get anything by holding back, because at the end of the day, the worst thing that's going to happen is maybe you fail for a little bit and you learn something, but you're in a different place still than if you had just stayed where you were. Yeah, where you are.
Fail forward. You have to. Yeah. I mean, you've got to let the hunger overtake the doubt sometimes. And even if you don't know everything that you're about to get into and how to do every single thing that you're about to do, the great thing is that you've got this opportunity ahead of you. And I don't think anyone ever takes an opportunity and goes, okay, this is a leadership role and it's different and more than what I've been doing. I don't think anyone's ever fully developed to go take that role and is like, okay, now I am in the role that I should be in and I know everything. This is such a great opportunity to go and then grow as you go. And you're not going to be able to put all this stuff in a book or on a course. Although we do have some great courses.
We do have some good resources.
No books
we'll
yet,
talk
but
about
great
that.
courses. You're not able to get ready fully before you actually go into this role that you're going to go into, and that's your opportunity to grow.
I think it's a sign you're too late if you feel fully ready. Like you're probably held yourself back and might be ready for what would be your next step if you had gotten there. I think that's really good. I wanted to talk more to and get your takes on at the end. They touch on what I think really does help putting action into this feeling, because it's one thing to say, oh, everybody feels it, it's okay, push through. It's like, how do I push through? Yep. And I think what they say at the end really touches on it. They say, how do you build real confidence and credibility with your team.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the ways you go about doing that once you've acknowledged the feelings and how to push through?
Sure. You got to build confidence within yourself first before you build it outside of yourself. People can see through the facade. And if you are pretending, you better do it confidently, right? So I think you've got to, one thing I would say that it's an easy exercise to do is just write down all the things that you actually do know. Like, what are the things that you are good at doing? How have you shown leadership in the past or in your current role? How have you created relationships? Who follows you currently? Like, really sit down and evaluate all that and go, okay, I've got a bank account here of some really good stuff. The next thing I would do is just go, okay, I'm going to really engage in saying I don't know everything, but I'm gonna go forth confidently, even if on the inside I'm not 100% confident. I'm going to make decisions. I'm going to chart which course we're going, and then I'm going to be the first one to say that didn't work. And I'm going to be the last one to say that worked really well. I'm going to highlight the things that worked well through other people, but don't be afraid to stand up and go, that was on me, my fault. I take full responsibility for it. I can't say that it won't happen again, but that particular thing won't happen again. So I think you've got to do an inventory of yourself, see actually where you are great in, like what your strengths are, and then put a plan together, go forth confidently, know that you're going to learn along the way, stumble, fail forward, and be the first one to say, that's on me, won't happen again.
And when I think about true confidence in a leader and leaders I look up to that have this confidence, it is leaders that are willing to do that. It's not just those that are the loudest and seem like they're just going to go forward no matter what. It is those leaders that are willing to do that. And what about helping build credibility? Say this is a whole new team this person's stepping into. They could be in a situation where they already know and have relationships with people, which is great, but sometimes that isn't the case. So what are your first steps to build credibility as a leader in a new space?
Great leaders are servant leaders, in my opinion. And so to build credibility, you've got to show your team that you in your position is not above them and what they do. Structurally in the organization it might be, but get in and get into the nitty gritty, roll your sleeves up, work side by side with them, ask a lot of questions, like get to understand what they do, how they do it, what their goals are personally, professionally, organizationally, and then start to pull on those things to help you gain a little bit of insight, a little bit of influence, and that kind of stuff. I think also you've got to win. I mean, so you've got to take into account what is a win for your team and for your teammates. And so how do you help them win each day or at least each week and move closer to what their goals are? So I think you have to engage a little bit. You have to do a little bit of old-fashioned personal work, if you will, and get to know them, what they're looking for, what they want, and then how you can arrange what you do every day to help them win at work.
That's good. Yeah, I think that's great steps to go into. And I think as we look back at Cautiously Capable specifically and over their letter, it really does come down to this. They've got to push past their own self-doubt. It sounds like external forces are telling them that they should do it. Their work feedback is telling them that they should do it. People are approaching them. I mean, you don't always get that, right? That's your green light right there. If your people you work with every day are giving you that. And so I think it's exactly the things we talked about with that imposter syndrome of tackling it. You've got to do the inner work first and understand you're never going to feel ready. And I really like what you said earlier about doing that self-evaluation to say, is this fear holding me back, or is it something true? Like, I think I need to do some more work in a certain area, and be honest with yourself. And I think a great thing to do is talk to some of those people, ask them what they see as things you might need to work on to step into this role. And that can give you those. And then looking into building that confidence and credibility, which are so key, stepping into whether it's a totally new area or just a new role within the same area, building that inner confidence, being able to own when things might go wrong, and building that credibility with your team is so important. I think those are great ideas and applicable no matter if you're in a new area or not. I think credibility and confidence, and I love what you said about what does it mean to win for each of the members of your team? Because that is something I go and think back of so often is, what does winning truly mean for this person? Because that's how you help people succeed and help them do all of the things we're going to talk about this month. Buy into your mission, vision, your overall goals, and really enjoy that is when they see how they can win, it's achievable, and there's support there where they need.
Agreed. Totally.
Yeah.
I think you wrapped it up quite nicely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Any other parting thoughts you want to leave for Cautiously Capable or anyone else?
No, I think the last thing I would say is just a reiteration of what the whole conversation has been of you're in good company, smart, hungry, humble. This is a sign of humility. Don't let it turn into self-doubt because that is crippling. Guard your heart, guard your emotions when it comes to that. Walk into it confidently. Know that you're going to mess up. When you do, own it. And when you do, get over it as well. So once you've owned it, get over it and move on. And know that there's going to be a better future in the lives of the people you lead because of how you're going to lead and grow in this next season. And know that don't take that as pressure, but take it as a privilege that you have the opportunity to speak into people's lives in a much greater way. And all it's going to take from you initially is getting out of comfort and going into growth mode.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing. And something we have on our website this month for totally free is our leadership confidence scale that you can go and download. And it really helps you evaluate, where do I feel 100%? Where might I need some of those working opportunities? Can help you start to think about how to put actions into those areas. So on our website, social media, all of those for people to download. The leadership confidence scale is another great resource out there for everybody as we're talking about these topics.
Yeah, and it's
perfectly.
Free.
Totally free. You just go right on our website.
Come on.
There.
So if you want to grow, go to our website, because otherwise, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Cautiously Capable, for writing in. If you or anyone else out there wants to write in and let us know about a situation you're facing, we'd love to talk about it. Visit our website and go to the podcast page, and there's a box right there for you to fill out, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much, and have a great week.